How's it going, everybody? So I'm going to show you every single Molotov that I feel like you should know for CS2 on every single map, starting off with Inferno. So in my opinion, the most important position to molly off for Inferno is this new box position. It's just kind of difficult to deal with as you're taking sight. So the easiest way to do this is by getting stuck into this corner right here and just left clicking in this little divot here. Although this lineup is a little bit inconsistent and sometimes it won't spread all the way around to the corner, like this situation here, there's a big gap. So what I recommend doing is instead going right here into this corner and doing a jump throw in the left-hand side. There's a little curvature in this little A here in the wood. Just on the left side of that, do a simple jump throw, and every single time, no matter what, that's going to fully spread here to where you never have to wonder whether or not there's going to be a player behind this position. And moving on from this exact same spot, you can do a simple left-click throw at the bottom right-hand corner of this little windowsill here, and that is going to perfectly molly off both first and second oranges to where there's nowhere in either of these positions that they can stand. And finally, you can jump up here into this position, into this corner here, and do a jump throw at the little black speck that's just to the right of this bottom bar on the window here. And that's going to go all the way back into dark, fully mollying it off to where there's no gap back here whatsoever. Now moving on over to A site from this position right here, you can molly off the plant or just the back side if you're in a retake position just by left clicking right here between this support beam and this support beam. And that's going to fully molly off back site, including this area back here in the corner here in dark. Moving on over to Vertigo, I would say one of my favorite mollies to throw is by getting into this corner right here and just coming up from this little yellow bar to where it intersects with the top of the tarp. So just right here, that is going to fully molly off the default plant position all the way from this corner all the way to here. It's a super good molly. It spreads very far and will pretty much catch any plant position on sight. And a great T-side molly you can throw as you're taking control of yellow and short is by coming right here into this corner, finding this little circle here up on the sign and doing a middle click or left and right click release at the exact same time. That's going to go right up here and it's going to molly off all the way from this corner to this wall, pretty much fully taking out their ability to fall back onto site or to push up for a peek. Next, you can never go wrong with mollying off the back pillar here on B site by just coming right here into the front of this box and just left clicking at this top little screw right here. It's going to go all the way back here and land just behind this beam to where they're going to have to move out in front of it away from cover. And you can molly off default by going into this corner and just aiming up and to the right of this little metal bracket. That's going to go all the way back here and molly off both default and this kind of back area here to where they can't stand here and peek stairs. They have to get pushed all the way back behind this part of the box here. On Overpass, it's absolutely critical to molly off short as a T as you're pushing up. So the easiest and fastest way to do that is just as you're running here, you're going to kind of line yourself up with kind of this area here where the shadow kind of comes to a point. And as you're crossing over it, you're going to do a middle click jump throw at the bottom right of that B. And that's going to land right here and fully molly off this position. And of course, the direct counter to that is for the CTs to come anywhere in this vicinity right here and just do a simple left click throw at the top of this second balcony up. It's super forgiving with where you're standing. As long as you're in that area and aiming at that balcony, it's going to fully molly off short pipe. And if you want to throw it on the fly, you can just aim at the bottom of this fence and do a right-click jump throw the second you cross that pillar there. As you can see, it hits pretty much the exact same, and you can just kind of do it on the fly as you're running up onto site. You don't have to stop or anything like that. You just throw it like this, and you can just keep on moving about your business, and just like that, you've got it fully mollied off. So I would say the most important Molotov to know for a site on Overpass is coming right here into Divider and doing a jump throw right where you see where this line intersects with the pillar. You go just below it to right about here and do a simple jump throw, and that's going to go all the way on the back side of the truck and fully molly off this entire area right here to where they can't, stand back here and use this truck as cover to shoot you as you push up. So moving on to Anubis, one of the most important positions to be able to molly off is this area right here in mid. So the easiest way to do that is just by coming anywhere along this side of the table here and just doing a simple left click throw at the top left portion of this window right here. That's going to bank off the back and fully molly off everything here all the way up to this point right here where it's super easy to clear because they're going to be right in your face and you can just flash right through to them. And in my last Anubis video, one of my viewers named Scambait Spidey pointed out that there is a faster way to throw this molly. All you have to do is as you're coming out of spawn running around this corner, you just want to make sure you only see orange between this pillar and this part of the wall. So just like this, where there's only orange right here. And as you're running, you just do a left click run throw, and that's going to bank right off the side here and molly off this position. Now, instead of there being a gap in the front, there's going to be a gap in the back. So no matter what happens, there's either going to be a gap in one of these two positions. So pick your poison and throw it however it works best for you. Now, if you've ever taken dart control and you've cleared out all of these areas here, you can position your back along this wall and line up this pillar with the left-hand side of this, little entrance here, aim at this black chip and do a running jump throw right before you hit this step. It's going to go all the way back here and fully molly off this backside position where no one can just stand here and hold you as you're peeking up. And while you're doing an A hit, you can get stuck into this position right here and just do a simple left click throw towards the top peak of this little arch. It's going to go right here and bank deep into connector to where they can't rotate in from mid. Now, if you prefer smoking this off, another great molly that I like to throw from that exact same position after this is smoked is I will throw at there's this kind of intersection right here where the backside of the arch meets the front, just right here, and that's going to end up mollying off this position right here. If you play a lot of Anubis, you'll realize that a lot of times people will end up peeking out on this position. Taking that away makes it a whole lot easier to push out and fight anyone that's on site. So moving on to Ancient, if you go into this corner right here, you can jump through at this little black spot at the bottom, or I guess the top right of this large stone here. That's going to fully molly off all of Cubby here, to where anyone standing here is going to get fully forced off of this position. From that exact same spot, you can also just left click at the top of this little black line here, and that's going to go right around to the back of default, to where anyone standing here is going to have to, it's going to push them out to where they're fully exposed to long, so it makes it way easier to fight this angle. So while that last set was for more of a retake situation, let's take a look at some good early round utility. So for the CT side, a great thing to do as you're running up towards B side is to molly off this position here to where the T's, it kind of denies them that early cave or mid pressure. So as you're rounding this corner, you're just going to position your crosshair right at the bottom of where this blue board intersects with the ground, and you're going to do a middle click jump throw the second you kind of hit this area right here on the wall. So it's pretty loose, but you just round this corner, aim right here, and just do a middle click jump throw. So that's going to go all the way up here and land right there, denying a ton of map control to the T's early round. And on the other side of that, if you're ever executing B, a great molly to throw in is just by coming right here into this little X pattern and aiming just below where this fern intersects with the top of the building and just doing a simple left click throw. That's going to land right here, and it's going to fully molly off anyone, that's trying to come out of cave and help out with the defense. And it also mollies off all of this default box to where, they can't stay behind here and wait for a flash and peek and try to fight. It's just a really good molly to completely disrupt the B defense. So moving on to Nuke, I would definitely say the most important lineup for this map is knowing how to molly off top hut. So in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is to come right here on top of this metal piece and lining up with this line right here. You can then find these two little bolts, move your crosshair all the way up to the top of the roof, and you're going to do a run throw the second you're about to fall off of this part right here. So you're going to aim here and just do a run throw. That's going to pop all the way back here, land on top of hut, and fully molly it off without leaving any gaps on any position here. And another absolutely fantastic molly is if you go right here on the left side of this metal piece and you just aim right here at this little divot above the yellow fence. You just do a simple jump throw that's going to bank down, and it's going to molly off this part of backside to where they're either going to have to fully expose out towards hut or all the way out here towards Squeaky and Mini, and they just can't play behind here and maybe wait for support or flashes from their team. And finally, moving on to Mirage, I would definitely say the under balk molly from Palace is one of the most important ones that you can learn, especially if you like going Palace. All you have to do is go on the left side of this pillar right here, position your crosshair up towards the top of this kind of angled position in the wall, and the second you cross this doorway, you're just going to release. You're going to aim right here and just release right about now. That's going to go all the way down this hole and fully molly off under balk just like that. If you're ever stuck behind this CT smoke, all you have to do is come right here into this position and just left click right here at the left side of this hay. And that's going to go all the way up here, and it's going to molly off default, this side of default, front default. It's even going to get this area here and the common plant spot here on triple. It's pretty much the god molly for A site, and it'll get pretty much every single plant position. Moving on to the B side, this is a molly that Kerrigan throws a lot for FaZe. He basically just comes right here onto this corner, and we'll just aim right in the middle of this little plank here in this piece of trash and jump throw, and that's going to go all the way pretty deep here, mollying off to where none of the T's can peek out and push up towards deep apps. So I hope all this utility helps you out in your next CS2 Premier match. If you have any suggestions for me, please leave them down in the comments below. I love making videos that you guys want to see.